We're back with our post-game coverage for the NBA Finals after Game 1. I'm Stephanie Reddy, joined by Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Isaiah Thomas, all of whom have won championships in the NBA. Kenny, let's start with you and talk about the Lakers' threes. They shot very well, especially for their team, above the break, 50%. Can they sustain that throughout these finals?
Yeah, they could sustain it, but I just love the live action because I miss the studio because I would be screaming, Shaq, we're on, Shaq, we're on. And so now we can see you. I can't help you out, big fella. I can't help you out. You ain't on the other side of the desk.
My bad, America. My bad, America. My Wi-Fi is slow up here in the country.
No, but the 3-point, obviously against the zone, that's what you're trying to give up. If you're the Miami Heat, the shots they made is the shots that you wanted to give up. So you said, hey, if we're going to give up one thing, we're going to give Rondo threes, we're going to give Danny Green threes, and they're going to have to be consistent in knocking them down. I just think that the rotation still was just too slow and wasn't athletic enough. So, these are still NBA players. They take hundreds and hundreds of shots per day. So they're going to make three-pointers if you give them time. What some guys aren't able to do is make three-point shots under duress with people running at you quickly. And that's what you want to do if you're the Miami Heat. You just got to get there faster. And if they hit shots in game 2, you're going to might as well start packing your stuff and get ready to get out the bubble, because if those guys are hitting those shots under duress the same way they are when they were open, I think that's the recipe to start packing up and get the big face coffee out of there.
You went straight to the coffee. Shaq, we're going to come to you next just in case we have an issue with the Wi-Fi as it gets later and later in the night. Adjustments for Game 2. What are you expecting moving forward?
Well, if Dragic is out, Kendrick Nunn will be the next man. We all know of his scoring ability. We all know he's herky-jerky. I think he can play. I expect the Miami Heat guys to play harder. I expect them not to hang their head low, to come out the same way they came out in the first quarter. Like Kenny said, I expect them to get to the shooters. And I expect Bam to play a little bit better. At one point there he was 2 for 7, before he hurt his shoulder. I know Bam very well. He's becoming an elite player in this league. He's playing very well. They're going to make minor adjustments, but when you hear Eric Spoelstra, say at the podium, they outplayed us. They were more physical. They played toughness. That's not the Miami Heat that we know. So they're going to watch film. He's going to call people out, and I expect them to come in Game 2, and it's going to be very, very tough. And they might even say, okay, Danny Green, in the last couple series, you wasn't shooting well. You was in a slump. We're going to see if you can do it in Game 2. So, they're probably going to go back to their zone in the first quarter, and then if the Lakers hit shots, then Eric Spoelstra is going to call a timeout, then he's going to make other adjustments. I don't think a lot of people believe that they can shoot 11 for 17 in the first half in 3 more games.
All right, Isaiah, we talked a little bit about the injuries that the Miami Heat have suffered in Game 1. Their top 3 scorers all went down at some point. Jimmy Butler did stay in, but Bam Adebayo, we're not sure what's going to happen with his shoulder injury, and we know that Goran Dragic is likely to be out. Not official word yet, just on the injury. What do you think? Can they figure out how to keep up with their Miami Heat culture, their reputation of next man up, and keep fighting?
They'll keep up with their reputation in terms of next man up. However, you win championships, as Kenny and Shaq know, with the things you can't measure. And, as Spoelstra talked about, he talked about tone, he talked about force, he talked about physicality. And, the energy and intensity that we as players talk about, the end result is the three-point shot, the stat sheet, and all that. Those are the things that you can measure. But you win championships with the immeasurables, the things that you can't measure. And right now, the size of the Lakers, the energy and the force that the Lakers are playing with. You look at their rebounding stat, 54-36 in favor of the Lakers. It's not the zone, it's not this, it's the size of the opponent that you're playing against and the intensity and the energy that the opponent is playing with. and the intimidation that opponent plays with. I can remember the Lakers, and I'm talking about Shaq, playing Utah, and Shaq intimidated the whole Utah team as they were walking off the floor against each other, right? He intimidated, and I won't tell the whole story, but he intimidated the Utah Jazz in shoot around. So that force, that intensity, that intimidation that you bring to the game, those are the things that allow you to score points that people measure. But the things that you can't measure, those are the things that you win with. And tonight, when Spoelstra took the mic, he said tone, physicality, and force, we could not match what the Lakers brought. And we got to find a way to bring that. And I don't know if they can bring that. That's like Kenny and I trying to, out-physical Shaq. It's just not going to happen.
Gentlemen, I really appreciate you hanging around, your analysis, helping us break this down. I am going to bid you adieu, but before we do that, let's take a look at social media again. Kenny is sharp. They love the gear, Kenny. See, no trophies, but the gear.
Hey, you know what I want to say? We got to be remiss. If I'm sharp and he's got championships, we got to say it again. The most decorated woman in television history we're with right now with Stephanie Reddy. Been a coach. Let's get the 5 first again. What is it? The first coach, right?
Right. I in Division I college men's basketball, I was the first full-time recruiting coach.
Then in the NBA, yeah. Then in the G League,
yep.
Right?
Championship with the Greenville Groove. That's right.
First and only woman. Then in broadcast.
Yep. First full-time analyst as a woman with a team.
Come on, man. We went royalty up in here.
You're making me blush.
That's only 3.
You're making me blush, guys.
We went to Pioneer.
Listen,
no doubt.
I appreciate you guys. Hall of Famers, champions, all 8 of your championship rings. I bid them adieu. Appreciate you guys.
We got to get your coaching perspective next time. We're going to get some of your coaching perspective.
I'll see you guys on Friday, at least 2 of the 3.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you at home because we have more coverage coming up. We still have some pressers to get to as game.
We join you back with our live post-game coverage. The update here on Goran Dragic, according to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports, is that he exited the arena without utilizing a boot and wasn't favoring his foot much at all. Remember, the report earlier tonight is that he has a torn plantar fascia. That is Goran Dragic. Shams from The Athletic saying that he will continue to be reevaluated, and he is not ruled out yet. We welcome you back to Lake Buena Vista, a.k.a. the Orlando Bubble. Steve Smith, Jared Greenberg on the court here after the Lakers' convincing Game 1 victory. But as we look ahead to Game 2, the story is going to be, Smitty, about not just the Dragic injury, but also Bam Adebayo, who left Game 1 with a shoulder sprain. He also had x-rays. Those were negative. So massive question marks surrounding the Miami Heat. And obviously Adebayo, he's an all-star. He's an all-NBA caliber player at this point of his career. But if people aren't studying the Miami Heat on a day-to-day basis, they may have missed just how significant of a piece Goran Dragic has been during this playoff run.
He's been fantastic, Jared. The reason why is at his age, at 34 years old, Kendrick Nunn had not been playing a lot, so there's been a lot of pressure on Goran to play major minutes. Throughout the regular season, he wasn't starting. Kendrick Nunn was starting, getting that playing time from taking on the first guards, but I think he was coming out finishing games. But throughout this playoffs, he was starting, finishing, and he was the guy at times being their best offensive player, averaging close to 21 points. But also, not only that he was averaging 21 points, Jared, was how. And it was getting to the lane, points in the paint. They don't really post up a lot, but he was that one guy that they could count on that could get to the line, mix it up. He took the bumps. He wanted to bang. He wanted to be physical from a guard standpoint. So I just hope he gets a chance to play, but having that type of injury, that's going to be very tough. The way he plays, he's not a big or just a standstill shooter. He's a guy that's a lot of cutting, put a lot of pressure on that foot.
This is a Miami Heat team that seems like it was built to play in an environment like this, where they're on a business trip day in and day out, and they have come together to put one of the best runs in the postseason together. Obviously, if they don't have Dragic, that's massive. It's unthinkable that they could even win a game in this series without Bam Adebayo, but You heard Jimmy Butler at the podium a couple of moments ago talking about taking on more of an offensive load. What does that look like now for the Heat?
Well, I think for him is he's played the game where he let the game come to him. Now he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. He's going to have to attack, put some pressure. I thought he did that in that first quarter. He came out a different Jimmy Butler that he had been playing pretty much in the bubble. One thing he's going to have to do, I think, a little bit more is try to post up a little bit more once he get a smaller defender. But I will say Kendrick Nunn is a player that can flat out score the basketball. We forget the type of regular season he had as a rookie. He is not afraid. He can score. He's one guy is that he can come out and obviously take up the scoring of Goran Dragic, but they're going to miss that next player, and that's going to have to be somebody else. Duncan Robinson is going to have to play better in Tyler Hero for these guys to have a chance.
Remember, the Heat jumped out to a 13-point first quarter lead before the Lakers went on a 21-5 run and never looked back in this game. We'll continue to have updates all throughout the night and tomorrow on our Media Day coverage when we're back here tomorrow afternoon right here on NBA TV. Smitty, people are tweeting all throughout the universe. What are they saying, Smitty? Y'all see Smitty with them sharp shoes on, baby?
Yeah, I like that. You know, the one thing is you look at the guys tweeting about, you're talking about a guy is being professional, veteran, old school, and then we have this.